My name is Carla Newman, and at my grandpa's funeral, my parents and sister grabbed his Manhattan penthouse and that $50 million yacht like it was their birthright. When they saw my envelope with just a plane ticket inside, they sneered, treating me like I didn't belong. My sister Rhonda spat right in my face. "Go away, you foreigner." I stayed silent, didn't argue, just nodded and walked away. But 1 week later, as they uncovered the truth I was holding, my phone exploded with 25 calls from Rhonda in 30 minutes. I finally picked up and dropped 5 words that made her jaw drop forever. The screen on my phone kept lighting up, vibrating nonstop in the quiet of the Oregon vineyard where I sat with a cold smile. Rhonda's name flashed again and again. Desperate, a week ago, they thought they'd won everything, laughing at my pathetic inheritance. Now, everything was flipping. Flashback to that tense hotel room in Minneapolis, the lawyer's voice echoed as he announced the will. Howard and Gloria, my parents, beamed as they claimed the penthouse keys. Rhonda clutched the yacht documents, already planning her parties. Then my turn, a thin envelope. No fanfare. Inside, a one-way ticket to Willamette Valley, Oregon. No cash, no property, just that. Rhonda's laugh cut through the air first, her words stinging like always. I folded the ticket, slipped it in my pocket, and left without a word. They had no idea what was coming. If you've ever been sidelined by family over an inheritance that wasn't fair, drop your story in the comments below. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for more twists like this. You won't want to miss how this revenge unfolds. The lawyer's voice filled the hotel room as he began reading the will. Mr. Ellis adjusted his glasses and cleared his throat. "To my son, Howard Newman, and his wife, Gloria, I leave the Manhattan penthouse on Central Park West and the investment portfolio in the account ending in 582. Gloria grabbed Howard's arm, her rings flashing under the lights. "The penthouse," she whispered. "We can finally host those galas properly. To my granddaughter, Rhonda Newman, I leave the yacht Serenity, moored in Miami, valued at $50 million, along with the bank accounts designated for its maintenance." Rhonda leaned back with a smirk, already pulling out her phone. "This is going to blow up my feed," she said. "Influencers will be begging for invites." Then it was my turn, and to my granddaughter, Carla Newman, I leave this. Mr. Ellis slid a thin envelope across the table, my name scrawled on it in Grandpa Franklin's familiar handwriting. The room went quiet for a beat. I opened it carefully, pulling out a single plane ticket, one way to Willamette Valley, Oregon, departing tomorrow afternoon. No note, no explanation, just the ticket. Howard broke the silence first. "Maybe Dad figured you needed a break, Carla, before you find something more stable than that office job." His tone was casual, like he was doing me a favor by commenting. Gloria nodded, her voice sharp. "Oregon. What's even there? Some farms and rain. You could use the time to think about your future." Rhonda couldn't hold back. She waved the yacht papers like a trophy. "I'll be throwing epic parties on Serenity, popping champagne with real influencers. And you, foreigner, can go rot in that backwater hole." Her laugh was harsh, echoing off the walls. The word foreigner hit like it always did, a reminder of how they saw me as the odd one out, not fitting their perfect picture. I didn't snap back, didn't explain that Grandpa Franklin had been the only one who saw past their greed. I just folded the ticket and slipped it into my bag. Inside, something stirred. Grandpa had taught me during our poker games to hold my cards close, wait for the right bluff. This felt like his final hand. I stood up, my chair scraping the floor. "I need to pack," I said flatly. Rhonda rolled her eyes. "Yeah, enjoy your little adventure. Don't forget to send postcards from nowhere." Howard shrugged. "It's thoughtful, in a way. Dad always said you weren't cut for business." As I walked out, their whispers followed me. But I didn't look back. In the elevator, I pulled out my phone and booked the flight for that evening instead. No point waiting. I didn't tell them. Let them celebrate their wins while they could. Back in Milwaukee, my apartment felt smaller than ever. The water stain on the ceiling stared down like always. I worked as an office clerk at a local firm, filing papers for $12 an hour. Barely enough for rent and bills. My family had always treated me like the outsider because I didn't chase their flashy life. I chose steady over showy. Grandpa Franklin got that. He'd visit sometimes, just to play poker and talk. No lectures on success, just real conversations. He was the one person who saw me for me, not what I could bring to the table. I stepped off the plane in Willamette Valley, Oregon, my mind buzzing with questions. Why this ticket? Why here? Grandpa Franklin's words from our last poker game echoed, the most valuable things don't always shine. Was he pushing me away from Howard, Gloria, and Rhonda's toxic grip, or was there something more? At the small airport, a driver in a dark suit held a sign with my name. He introduced himself as Tom, his voice calm, but urgent. "Miss Newman, we need to move quickly." I hesitated, clutching my carry-on. "Who sent you?" His reply was simple. "Your grandfather arranged everything." My stomach twisted. Arranged what? Tom drove through rolling fields of grapevines, the sunset casting long shadows. I stared out the window, replaying Grandpa's lessons. He'd always said to read the table, not just the cards. Did he see something in me that my family didn't? The thought kept my nerves steady, even as doubt crept in. We pulled up to a wooden gate, a carved sign reading, "Franklin's Legacy Vineyard." My jaw dropped. Grandpa owned this a vineyard. The place was nothing like the flashy penthouse or yacht. A French-style villa sat nestled among the vines, its warm stone glowing in the fading light. It felt real, grounded, like a secret he'd kept just for me. Tom opened the car door, and a silver-haired woman stepped out of the villa. Her eyes, sharp but kind, locked onto mine. "You're Carla, aren't you?" she said, her voice soft but certain. "I've been waiting for you." My heart pounded. Who was she? Why was she waiting? I followed her to the porch, my bag still in hand. The air carried the faint sweetness of grapes, so different from Milwaukee's city grit. She turned, her smile familiar, almost like Grandpa's. "Come inside," she said. "There's so much you need to know." My confusion deepened. The villa's wooden floors creaked under my steps, and framed photos lined the walls, images of vineyards, harvests, and people I didn't recognize. One caught my eye, a younger Grandpa Franklin, laughing with a woman who looked like her. My chest tightened. What had he hidden all these years? I set my bag down, questions piling up. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice barely steady. She didn't answer right away, just gestured to a couch. "Sit," she said. "This is going to take some explaining." I sank into the seat, my mind racing. The vineyard, this woman, the ticket, it all felt like a puzzle Grandpa had left me to solve. I thought of calling Trisha, my best friend, to make sense of this. She'd pushed me to take this trip, saying, "Carla, if Franklin gave you that ticket, it's for a reason." Now, sitting in this strange place, I felt her words ring true. Grandpa had always played the long game. This wasn't just a trip, it was his final move. The woman sat across from me, her hands folded. "My name's Vivian," she said finally, "and I was your grandfather's wife." My breath caught. Wife, my head spun, trying to piece it together. The ticket wasn't random. It was a key. And I was about to unlock something my family in Minneapolis could never have imagined. Vivian led me into the villa's living room, her steps slow but steady. She gestured to an old oak table where a laptop waited, its screen dark. "This is where it starts," she said, her voice carrying a weight I didn't yet understand. She introduced herself fully, Vivian Newman, Grandpa Franklin's second wife, married in secret for 30 years. My knees buckled. I gripped the chair, staring at her. Grandpa had another family. 2 more people entered the room. A man in his 50s, Leonard Newman, my uncle, with the same sharp eyes as Grandpa. Beside him, my cousins Darren Newman and Jolene Newman, both in their late 20s, offered cautious smiles. "We've been waiting to meet you," Leonard said, his voice warm but reserved. My head spun. A whole family. Hidden all this time, Vivian clicked the laptop, and Grandpa Franklin's face filled the screen. His voice, steady as ever, cut through my shock. "Carla, if you're watching this, you chose right." He leaned forward, his gaze piercing even through the recording. "This vineyard, Franklin's legacy, and the $47 million trust account tied to it are yours. This is your real inheritance." I froze, my breath catching. $47 million a vineyard, then came the second blow. The penthouse and yacht I gave Howard, Gloria, and Rhonda. "They're traps," Grandpa said. He explained the Manhattan penthouse was mortgaged with a $12 million debt. The yacht, Serenity, carried $8 million in unpaid maintenance fees. Their bank account held only $200,000, barely a fraction, and the bank was already circling to repossess everything. I needed to know who loved me for me, not my money, he said, his tone firm but sad. You, Carla, never asked for anything. You played poker with me, listened, cared. They chased wealth, so I gave them what they wanted: empty prizes. The video ended, the screen going black. My hands shook as I looked at Vivian. He planned this, I asked, my voice breaking. She nodded. For years. He knew your family was toxic, Carla. This was his way to set you free. Leonard stepped closer. He talked about you constantly, his granddaughter who valued people over profit. Anger surged, mixing with gratitude. Grandpa had seen how Howard dismissed me, how Gloria judged, how Rhonda mocked me as a foreigner for not fitting their greedy mold. He'd crafted this test, knowing they'd fail it. I thought of Trisha's words before I left Milwaukee. Franklin gave you that ticket for a reason. She was right. I stood, pacing the room, my mind racing. The vineyard's worth, the trust account, it was overwhelming, but it felt right. This wasn't just money. It was Grandpa's trust in me. I looked at Darren and Jolene, their faces open, not calculating. They didn't ask about my share or expect anything, unlike my family in Minneapolis. I'm not telling them, I said finally, my voice steady. Vivian raised an eyebrow but didn't argue. Let them figure it out, I added. Leonard nodded. They'll learn soon enough. I sat back down, staring at the laptop. Howard, Gloria, and Rhonda thought they'd won. They had no idea the ground was crumbling beneath them. Darren broke the silence. Want to see the vines tomorrow, he asked, his tone light. I managed a small smile. This place, these people, they were real. Grandpa had given me more than wealth. He'd given me a truth my family could never touch. Leonard walked me through the vineyard's operations the next morning. He showed me rows of Pinot Noir grapes, explaining soil types and harvest schedules with a quiet confidence. Darren and Jolene joined us, pointing out which vines needed pruning and how to check for ripeness. Their hands moved with ease. No trace of the entitlement I'd seen in Rhonda's smirk. This place runs on work, not flash, Jolene said, tossing me a pair of gloves. I slipped them on, feeling a connection to something solid, something Grandpa Franklin had built. Inside the winery, Leonard pulled up spreadsheets on an old computer. He walked me through production costs, distribution deals, and marketing plans. We sell 30,000 bottles a year, he said. Your grandfather trusted you to keep this going. I nodded, overwhelmed but grounded. These people didn't care about my bank account or status. They just wanted me to learn. I shut off my phone's notifications, ignoring any chance of Howard, Gloria, or Rhonda reaching out. Social media stayed dark. The only person I texted was Trisha, my best friend back in Milwaukee. I'm fine. Don't worry, I wrote, keeping it short. Silence was my strategy. Let my old family deal with their crumbling prizes. I wasn't ready to share what I'd found, not yet. Maybe not ever. Back in Minneapolis, the first cracks appeared. The bank called Howard on the third day, demanding payment on the penthouse's $12 million mortgage. He stammered, insisting there was an auto-pay account. The banker's voice was cold. No such account exists. By the fifth day, the yacht management company emailed Gloria an invoice for $670,000 in overdue maintenance fees. She stared at the screen, her hands trembling. Franklin promised it was covered. She whispered to Howard. Rhonda's confidence started to unravel. She logged into the bank account they'd inherited, expecting millions. Her face paled. Only $200,000 remained. She called the lawyer. Mr. Ellis, her voice sharp with panic. There's got to be more. Where's the rest? He explained the account was tied to the penthouse and yacht, both drowning in debt. This can't be right. Rhonda snapped, slamming her laptop shut. That old man screwed us. They started talking about me. Gloria paced their hotel suite, her voice tight. What did Carla get? Just a plane ticket to nowhere. Howard frowned, rubbing his temples. She's probably sulking in some rural dive. Rhonda's eyes narrowed. Why isn't she answering her phone? She grabbed her cell, dialing my number repeatedly, each call going to voicemail. I spent my days learning the vineyard's rhythm. Darren showed me how to test soil pH. his patience steady. Jolene walked me through the bottling line, joking about her first failed batch. Vivian watched from a distance, her smile soft but proud. "You're picking this up fast," she said one afternoon, handing me a glass of their signature red. I sipped it, the taste rich and unfamiliar, like this new life. My old family's panic didn't touch me here. I wasn't running their errands or cleaning up their messes anymore. Grandpa Franklin had given me a way out, a chance to build something real. I thought of his poker lessons, never show your hand too soon. Howard, Gloria, and Rhonda were about to learn what happened when they bet on the wrong cards. My phone started buzzing on the 7th day. I was in the vineyard's office, reviewing shipment logs with Leonard, when the screen lit up. Rhonda's name flashed first, then Howard's, then Gloria's 25 calls in 30 minutes. I ignored them, letting each one go to voicemail. Text messages piled up. Rhonda's all caps, "Call me now," and "Where are you?" followed by Howard's, "We need to talk." I set the phone face down, my focus back on the logs. Leonard glanced over but didn't ask. Jolene walked in, carrying a crate of bottled wine. "Everything okay?" she asked. Noticing my tense grip on the pen, I nodded, keeping it vague, "Just family stuff." She didn't push, just handed me a label to proofread. Their trust in me, without prying, felt like a shield against the chaos trying to reach me. Back in Minneapolis, Rhonda's world was collapsing. She called me again, her voice shrill in a voicemail I didn't open until later. "Where are you?" "Carla. What did Dad leave you?" "We're drowning in debt." I could hear her pacing, her panic sharp. She'd gone back to the bank, demanding answers about the $200,000 account. The manager's response was blunt. It was frozen, tied to the penthouse's $12 million mortgage. The yacht's $670,000 maintenance bill had arrived too, with threats of auction. Howard tried next, leaving a message that sounded more desperate than angry. "Carla, we need to sort this out. Call us." Gloria's text was a single line. "You can't just disappear." But I could. I had. I blocked their numbers after the 20th call, my finger steady on the screen. Rhonda's final message slipped through before the block. "You know something, don't you?" I leaned back in the office chair, staring at the vineyard's logo on the label. Franklin's legacy. It wasn't just a name, it was a promise Grandpa had kept. I thought of Trisha, who'd texted me yesterday. "You're where you're meant to be." She was right. This place, these people, were my real inheritance. After an hour, I picked up the 25th call from Rhonda. Her voice was frantic, almost breaking. "Where are you? What did Dad leave you? We need money to pay these debts." I let her rant, her words a blur of desperation. Then, my voice cold as stone, I said 5 words. $47 million. Enjoy your debt." I hung up before she could respond. Rhonda's reaction was instant chaos. She dropped her phone, the clatter audible through the line before it cut off. She screamed at Howard and Gloria, her voice echoing in their hotel suite. "She said she has $47 million. That old man gave her the real money." Howard grabbed his cell, calling Mr. Ellis, the lawyer, who confirmed a separate trust account in my name, untouchable by their debts. Gloria broke down, her sobs muffled in the background. "Why would Dad do this? We're his family." Rhonda kept trying to reach me, email, social media, even messaging Trisha. I'd already locked my accounts, cut every tie. They were grasping at a lifeline I wouldn't throw. Darren walked into the office, carrying a new batch of labels. "You look focused," he said, his tone light. I smiled, setting the phone aside. I was done with their chaos. Grandpa had played his hand perfectly, and I wasn't folding now. The bank moved in fast. Within 3 months, Howard and Gloria couldn't cover the $12 million mortgage on the Manhattan penthouse. Foreclosure notices piled up, and the bank seized the property. The yacht, Serenity, was auctioned off to settle $8 million in unpaid maintenance fees. They filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, hoping to clear the debts, but the court froze their assets. Their credit score hit 0, locking them out of loans. Howard, at 62, took a night shift at a warehouse to pay for a cramped 1-bedroom apartment in Minneapolis. Gloria sorted through their old designer clothes, selling half to cover rent. Rhonda's fall was sharper. Her marketing firm fired her after she posted about the yacht on social media, only for it to be repossessed days later. Clients dropped her, calling her a fraud. Her luxury condo lease ended when she missed payments. forcing her to move into her parents' tiny apartment. Her Instagram, once filled with glitzy posts, became a target for mockery. "Where's your yacht now?" one comment read. She stopped posting, her follower count tanking. I stayed in Oregon, working alongside Vivian at Franklin's legacy vineyard. I learned to negotiate with distributors, tweaking contracts to boost sales. Darren taught me how to blend wines, his quiet focus calming my nerves. Jolene showed me how to pitch the brand to local restaurants, her confidence infectious. I kept my part-time office job, doing remote data entry to stay grounded. This wasn't about wealth, it was about building something real. Vivian became my anchor. One evening, she handed me a ledger from Grandpa Franklin's early days. "He started this with nothing," she said, "just like you." I traced his handwriting, feeling closer to him than ever. Leonard, Darren, and Jolene didn't treat me like an outsider. They shared meals, stories, laughter, things my Minneapolis family never offered. I never reached out to Howard, Gloria, or Rhonda. Their calls had stopped after I blocked them. But a year later, an email from Rhonda landed in my inbox. "Carla, I'm sorry. We're struggling. Can you help it read?" Her tone pleading. I stared at the screen, remembering her sneer, her foreigner jab. I hit delete without replying. Grandpa's lesson was clear: greed destroys itself. Their lives unraveled because they chased what sparkled. The penthouse, the yacht, the bank account, they were hollow. Howard now punched a clock at a job he hated. Gloria clipped coupons to afford groceries. Rhonda took freelance gigs that barely paid, her reputation in tatters. Neighbors in Minneapolis whispered about their downfall, avoiding them at the store. I found my real family in Oregon. Vivian's warm hugs, Leonard's steady advice, Darren and Jolene's easy banter, they were enough. Grandpa Franklin had seen what I couldn't. Howard, Gloria, and Rhonda valued money over love. He gave them a trap and me a truth. One afternoon, I walked through the vineyard, the vines heavy with grapes. I thought of Grandpa's poker games, how he'd say, "Play the hand you're dealt, not the one you want." I'd played mine. My 5 words, 47 million. "Enjoy your debt" were my final move. They'd lost everything, and I'd gained a life they'd never understand.